Yellow. What is happening? Welcome. We're back with another installment. Trying to make sure everything's working. Looks like everything seems to be running. We're trying some new stuff today. Excuse me for being very exciting, I know. Let's see, Twitch. Third time, Inc. Hey, now I can see chat. Trailblazer, Hero Boy, Save Cause, everybody here. And I have some guests in the green room with me. I'm gonna add everybody in here. So guest one is gonna be you. And then we got Wolof, here two, and here, guest three in the green room. Add right, add right, add right. Hello.
How's it going, folks?
Hey, how are you, my friend? I've got all kinds of stuff set up today. I've got a whole new streaming platform. Fib is in the chat, ready to donate all kinds of degen. I see Mo Knows. We should get Mo Knows on if we have room. I don't know if we do to have him call some streams. But I also have some background music, which is a big difference to kind of make it feel a little less dead in here. Who do we have? Let's just chat a little bit. We've got our friend David. David, are you there? What's up?
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's a little room micy, but it's all right, right? You switch it over to full screen, yeah. Yeah, how are you? Look at this office. You got like, all kinds of bulletin board, a lot of important stuff you got to be doing right now.
Yeah, need to get the streaming setup a little improved here.
Mm-hmm.
We're beta though, right?
Yeah, it's beta. Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Okay, and then we have Wolof. Wolof, wow, good to meet you after all these years. How are you?
We're not getting sound from you.
No sound from Wolof. I can't hear him. Yeah, Paul. In the meantime, while Wolof figures out his. Paul calling in.
Guys.
Got the jacket on. Did you pour scotch?
Pretty wild to see Wolof to see your face after years and years of HRM and now PFL. So.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. We got Fib in the chat. Scuba Steve in the chat. I still can't hear you there, Wolof. Wolof is so soft spoken. Yeah, I'm checking his levels on my side. He looks fine.
Check which input it's using for you.
Try again there, Wolof.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
You still? Yeah.
It's pretty loud where you are.
Wait! Even do that, genius. Yeah, no, I'm
yes,
just kidding.
Of course. On the Discord, she's been saying the second you get on, I'm going to turn it on.
What do you think that is behind him? Anyone guesses?
You're with me right now.
Wife and kids?
Wait, we're 7. Oh, yeah.
There's two things that I cannot wait for you both to do. One is there's like a UFO thing that anytime I pressed it, I couldn't get it to work. And I want to figure out what that does.
You're watching a stream?
Can't tell. Sounds like he's listening to the stream delay. It doesn't sound like me.
No, that's not us. That
isn't us, right?
That's not us.
I'm gonna mute it when he figures it out. Well, as the background here, these two folks, are you guys bitter rivals or what, David? What's your relationship here with Wolof?
Oh, we actually have a good relationship. He's one of the few people I like.
Right, and Paul, I guess what's sort of the background that you have with Wolof here?
Wolof is, I won't say which place on the maybe top 5 members of the HRM community, but he's been a force of the previous game, which you guys know is a big part of my work for a number of years. So Wolof is is talented. I know Wolof as a talented and pretty intelligent fella, so I'm very excited when I see his name. I mean, I am. I'm excited when I see you show up in the PFL stuff because I feel like you'll have some good insight to it and probably do pretty well for yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I've had so much enjoyment over the last few years. Like you said, I mean, the HRM community is kind of like a family. We argue and we fight, obviously, and I know you guys. That's what I've said to you before. You've had to put up with a lot because we've gone through a lot. But it's been great. It's been great. I'm happy to go forward and go with the full evolution of everything. So it's been a lot of fun to witness.
Yeah, so for people that are tuning in here, that maybe I'm not sure how many are on stream or whatever looking at this, but we made a mobile game. It released in 2018, and Wolof, you won. That game ran on a season basis. It's kind of similar to Photo Finish Live. You won probably many seasons. So walk us through though, like how you found the game, and then how you became obsessed, and then sort of how you found success too, I suppose.
Well, I've never really been a gamer, so I'm just really into horse racing, and I enjoyed the horse racing games as they've come out in the past. So I don't know where I happened upon this on Facebook, I think, and I just saw the game and I jumped in. And I loved it. I mean, I loved it at first. I was having a lot of fun, and I had early success. And I think I probably yelled at you guys from because I didn't know Discord was a thing. So I was playing several hours a day without having Discord and without knowing anybody else was out there. And so I just had success early, and then once I got in the community, I was done. It was all over. It was hooked. It's a place to go and argue and talk crap and also win some races
of the game, but definitely also top 5 loudest players of the game. So
yeah. I've had a lot of opinions. I've definitely had a lot of opinions. I've tried to chill a little bit with PFL though. It seems like a little bit more in tune. This crowd's got a lot of knowledge base, so I want to really know where I'm at before I start running my mouth.
Now, sorry, I'm just trying to mess with audio levels and stuff, just kind of making sure everything's good there. We do have a race going off in about 2.5 minutes. The third time Thursday maiden, it looks like. And it looks like Mo just showed up. If I can see where he's at here. I don't know if I can take more than one guess, but I'm going to find out. We have him in. There he is. Okay, great.
All right, what's up, Mo?
Mo, can you hear us?
Yo, what up, gentlemen?
Yeah, it sounded good.
Welcome.
So, Mo, what's new on your world at this time of the week here? You've made it your way through beta so far. How's your stable doing at this point?
Stable's doing pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Need the same price of racing at the higher furlong races that we do at the bottom level, but that's screwing my barn right now. But other than that, loving V3, loving the real money racing. So far, so good.
You hear that, Paul? I think it's directly
I know.
at you. Okay.
What I was doing up till 2 minutes before this, and what I will be finishing directly after this, would be the work for the schedule update. So it'll get to you guys in a day or two to make sure things are safe. And
so this stream is actually distracting you from doing your work. Is basically what you're saying.
I don't want to say this choice is costing us money, but but I don't mind having an excuse to
Yeah.
This is an expensive stream for me so far. I already missed the Solana bottom or potential short-term bottom. I have some shorts I need to cover, so if you're seeing my eyes go high to other monitors, please excuse me.
Yeah, so what is the deal with Solana? It hit 18 or something, right? And then now it's popped her.
No, we
is
got
it back
down
up?
to 16.
16. Jesus.
Well,
H.
1670.
My
Yeah, it's
goodness.
brutal.
I don't want to
It
talk
is.
about where I, got in. So
Yeah, we were
says
all
enough.
convinced it was going to 1,000, I think. So, yeah, we ate that one pretty hard. Blame it on a 200 billion bank is what our sour says. Whole market is crashing. Everybody, right? It's not been great, that's for sure. All right, hey Mo, can you see the stream? Can you is it coming through on your side? You want to roll this call here in 15 seconds, the maiden?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Might be a little rusty here, but we'll give it a shot. All right.
That's quite a spread right there.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, horses are at the gate. And they're off here in the third time, Thursday maiden. Man out from the get-go, it's Opus 1 from in between, with Lost in the Flood on the outside. Then comes Apollo's Greed with Seeking Alpha in between, and it's Delta on the extreme outside, and Roaring Raoul, who's running off the rail here, about 3 1 off the track, and it's opening quarter here as the cavalry takes him around the turn in this 10-furlong affair, and I'm still waking up having my coffee. Opening quarters in the books here, 25 and change, and Seeking Alpha. One to catch, Lost in the Flood wants to share the lead early here, and Poxano's in front as this trio runs across the wire here for the first time. Everybody wave to your current leader, Lost in the Flood. A half break on the inside as Opus 1. That's Seeking Alpha as these three continue to drive the crowd around the track. Half mile and 50 change, and it's a break of 2 to Apollo's Greed with Delta V, who looks to get going here from the back. And Hartford now. Hartford showed up here on the leaderboard, rounding out the top 6 as they charge around here into the backstretch. And it's Opus 1. Opus 1 opens up by 3 now. And Lost in the Flood back there with Seeking Alpha on the inside. Delta V still sitting in fourth comfortably, looking here for a stalking trip. With about 7 lengths to make up from the leader as Opus 1 is starting to scoot away here. 3/4 is come and gone, 114, and it's Opus 1 into the turn. And Lost in the Flood with Wyatt Earp now, who starts to split rivals here, and now takes a challenge at the lead. But Opus 1 is holding on here, he's tucked tight on the rail. But as we make our way around here into the home stretch, it's Opus 1 that starts to get clear with Wyatt Earp chase mode and Lost in the Flood. And down the center of the track is Delta V with Apollo's Greed, but they're running out of room as the big cement balls have showed up once again. 100 meters to go and hit the wire. It's going to be Opus 1 over Wyatt Earp and Lost in the Flood.
Nice, great call as always from our friend Mo here.
Thank you.
So
Great call.
So what happened here? Let's see. We had basically a a refresh. We had a B all the way through S. We had a pretty wide range. Opus 1 went off as the favorite. Left turf soft. It was left turf soft. Pretty.
It's got gorgeous,
Straight up, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, not
Yeah,
not
it's
every
substantially
race-
better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pocono back on top after a jittery start to Beta.
Did
Beta
you say
3.
a variant start?
A variant, slightly shocking start. He's found his footing. Has nothing to do with us. He's found his skill at this point. So yeah, well, I guess we'll see in a minute and a half. Time to final. Back to look at the end here. So we've got pretty predictable fall, and the A plus, I guess, below the A minus there. What are your sort of thoughts right now on how are you feeling with the latest pushes to simulation math and all that jazz?
Yeah, it was certainly an experience. The amount of time that Chris, myself, and other Paul spent looking at the math and tweaking the math and asking questions of the math. And the final change that we made being something like a digit or two in its entirety across like all of the numbers in the entirety of the system. It's sometimes I sometimes just look back and laugh at the amount of work and how it sort of boils down when it actually comes to a change that we make. But I'm definitely more comfortable with where it's at. You know, I know we've still seen some upsets, which I like. I think that's very important. Like a B plus could have won this race, right? It's not likely, but it could have happened. It wasn't off the table. And I think you should wager on them. But so I like that. But you know, still seeing things pan out the way they should kind of build some confidence in anyone's ability to actually breed and race a horse, right? So maybe not the most exciting result for stream, but
okay, here we go. We can look at the final.
Now you guys homogenized Gen 0 age-wise. Is the plan to undo that for Gen 1 and later generations so we get back to that higher variance that we were seeing?
Currently, we're definitely planning to let age take its course for future generations. So that'll be an interesting jump to see, because when you think about it, the Gen 1 is going to be sort of coming into the racing world as Gen 0 is on its way out, just because of sort of how the timing lines up, just how long it takes for them to actually get there. So they'll sort of be starting on a pretty fresh track, pun, intended as one does, as they come into it. So we're going to see horses that are good and horses that are bad in their juvenile year, and then we might start to see some things changing. But I do hope that players can recognize that just because a horse isn't as good as you expected it in that first juvenile year, that it might still have potential. But one thing that I do actually like is that if you don't recognize the value of a horse, someone else might. Like, they might look at the breeding and say, no, this has to be a good horse. I can see where it came from. And they might be able to pick up a very good horse on the market that you might not have been there to carry through. And I really like what that does to the market. I really like what that does to the potential for other people to, play sort of different aspect of the game that's not just the racing, but sort of understanding the breeding and understanding where there might be money to be made or where there might be good racers to be found. So I do think it's important to have that age aspect, though I'm sure I'll get some complaints too.
One thing I was happy to have you on here for, David, is just sort of just dig in a little bit on yourself. I mean, not that you need to give your background, but you are a business person. I suppose you've been an entrepreneur at some level. Like, what drew you and what is drawing you to the horse business side here? Like, did you have a background or an excitement in horse racing the way Willoff did, or no?
Nowhere near. I've been to one race in real life when I was probably 13 years old or so. I enjoyed it, but it's just never been an interest of mine. What brought me in was Crown and the potential of Crown. And when I see a project that has hits all the bullet points like Photo Finish Live does, where I think that it can be an extremely lucrative long-term investment, I tend to like to get involved. And I took a big step back and evaluated how would I best support this project. And besides bringing other investors in, which I did, that was by buying a lot of horses, not with the intention of making a lot of money with them, but more being a liquidity provider, if you will. My friends and I own a lot of horses, somewhere in the 80 range. And our long-term goal is to about break even with them. Just make sure that enough races are being run. And because in my opinion, that's one of the bigger risks in the short term, especially with the ecosystem. So if I'm going to be going deep into Crown, I'm not a Crown maxi like some might accuse me, in my opinion. I'm an ecosystem maxi, and that means that you have to help ensure that every aspect of it's healthy, because otherwise it's just not going to be successful. So that's my role here.
Right. And so
And of course,
you
I'm
do
very
plan on racing all 80 yourself? Do you have someone that's doing a lot of that, stable management for you, or where do you sit on that side?
so we have some interesting contract details that there's clawback revisions. There's all kinds of things where I'm not in the driver's seat like I would like to be. I will not be racing them. I don't think. The intention is to hire a stable manager for live. That probably already would have been done, but we want a hard date before that hiring process comes. There's a small potential that they will buy me out of all my horses. I hope not, but that revision, that potential is there, but we'll see.
Wow, this is amazing. So you have a full contract in place. Attorneys were involved in your stable setup. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I paid an attorney to do a full risk analysis of PFL.
That's good. And so, Wolof, what's sort of your, setup, and what are you kind of doing, business wise with this version, or move as we go towards live?
Right now, I think I'm a little in over my head, to be honest. I've got control of my own small little stable that I'm running with about 5 horses, and then I'm fully engaged, running full operation on 2 big stables right now.
Mm.
And everybody knows that I've been working with Lolly. That was a match made in heaven as far as I'm concerned. So I'm running that one full time, and I've got full autonomy in that one because he doesn't have the time to be in here. And then I've got another stable that I'm working right now, and I'm starting to feel that 3 might be a little bit too much. Just as far as putting in different, choosing the races and different conflicts of interest, and
Right.
it's getting a little bit dicey. So that's something I've got to look into. I keep talking to HRM people as much as possible and letting them know that there's opportunities out there. Some maybe on my team, some for. I hear David saying I've had people contacting me. I've got 2 or 3 people that have contacted me looking for HRM stable managers, and I'm just waiting for these HRM guys to give me the go-ahead.
Yeah, that's been tricky.
There's a lot of opportunities there.
I don't quite understand some of the. I mean, I do, of course, the pushback and the reaction, but there's a couple of folks in there that are just so good at HRM that they would be a real natural fit over here to help out. I mean, JP, obviously, for those that don't know, who's been in our Discord, since the beginning almost, won, I don't know, 30 or 40 seasons there in Horse Racing Manager, if not more. He's just been super busy. I think a lot of people have wanted to hire him, but I don't think he's just had the time. Maybe someday. My goal for him always was that he could make this his full-time job and retire off of becoming a virtual horse magnate, but he's not there yet. But yeah, a lot of the other folks that are still in there grinding it out and, playing to the death every single week, every single season. I don't know what it is going to take to bring them over. Admittedly, I haven't really done much on my end. I just kind of have been thinking the community will figure itself out. Paul, did you recently change something in HRM? Did I remember that right?
Oh, we dropped the prices on a bunch of things just so people are a little freer to play.
Ah, nice. All right, there you go. A little olive branch, huh?
HRM will always be something that I'm like, if there's a day at work where I'm real frustrated, I would love to just, go over and make something for HRM. It's kind of, it's a bit of a home base in its own way. You know,
Mhm.
especially when we're in this sort of wilder world of NFTs and a very different kind of real money racing and all that stuff. But
Yeah, right. Let's see. Somebody says I'm trying to look over at the stream. Can you conceptualize how aging? This is RVA. Can you conceptualize how aging peak relates to retired visible stats? Will the peak be where a horse with an S speed actually races with an S plus speed for a chunk of time? Yeah, can you answer that,
if
Paul?
I understand correctly, what you see when you get those stats on retirement is the horse in its prime. I'm not sure there's more to add to that, but yeah, I think it would be sort of unfair of us to say, hey, these were some stats, he had somewhere along the way. So you kind of need that. You need some kind of benchmark to understand your horse for breeding. So should be the prime.
Got it. Okay. So now we are. We got 5 minutes to this race. Does anybody have any in this one? Mo, you have any in here? You got a? Doesn't look like it.
I do not. Was this over 100 Derby?
This is 1,000 Derby. Yeah. It's over a
Okay,
dollar.
let me
You're
give
out.
you guys. Yeah, I'll let you know real quick. I'm broke. All right, I'm poor. So for me to
You
run
gotta
as
pay
many
this guy
horses as
for
I
the
do,
calls.
yeah, it is not. It's hard for me. It's hard out here in the horse streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anybody? Let's see. Golden Boot. You got Golden. Any David or Wolof? You guys have any in this one? No.
I don't think so. I've got some of the ones coming up.
Okay.
Same.
So now that we're free of conflict of interest, we can help handicap this race. So you guys are pros here. It's all 8 or all however many 12 horses here are A rated or above, A minus or above. Let's see. Let's hear your trifecta pick here, Wolof. Who's going 1, 2, 3?
All right, let's see. We got
You have to actually, got to actually take a peek at some of the horses under the hood if you want to figure out what's going on. But
Yeah, you can't look, Paul. That's not fair, right? I mean, they're all carrying weight. It's a complicated formula at this point when they're all carrying weight. And you're like, okay, well, let's see. They ran a 50, but whatever. I mean, the smart money right now has got who he's sitting on, the King Bruno, with
all right.
2 pounds.
I'm taking the 4 to win.
Particle Flex, big brain. Okay.
see that if you're watching chat, I put in my top 2 is I put in Particle Flex and Capella as my sort of stretch bet right there, and I don't think that's really going to come through for me, but I don't know, just a rustling in my jimmies.
So you, so you did.
I'll take King Bruno for 3 though.
Okay, so you did a 4-11 exacta is what you're saying here. Okay.
I'm going 368.
I got a
368.
427.
427. I don't think I have enough time to figure out who. Oh, here we go. Sowers has got a good question for you. How does King Bruno get +2? So, Paul, please answer this because I never even understand this shit either.
In this right now, and this is something that we do want to improve upon. But the handicapper is something we want to improve upon. People have made some good comments. But right now, the handicapper is looking at the public information about this horse. The handicapper can see the fleet figures and the actual times ran and can see the public grade. So the handicapper has some rules that it follows about how it appraises and how it hands out that weight. And I think we pointed out to people that the handicapper, one place we want to improve the handicapper is to get a better sense of your race performance beyond sort of just the times you ran, but like who you were running against and what tier it was and that kind of stuff. So there's room to go up there. But he's getting 2 pounds because the handicapper's best guess was I don't know the specifics because I don't know what choices are under the hood here that the handicapper looked at, but
I mean, you're guessing that likely because he hit the podium in the last race. That's sort of the best guess that you have, or is there something else?
Like if we look at here, I'll pop over to to his history. Like he said, the handicapper might look and say, it's a bit of a different race, but like might look at his 11th place finish on the Roadrunner and say, I don't know how solid of a horse this is. But it takes into account that kind of stuff. Like one thing we were very, very serious about was making sure that the handicapper doesn't have any information that the players don't have. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to work with the very limited set of stuff that you guys can see on the races page or on the Fleet Figures page. So it, for whatever reason, it's decided that this horse has not shown well enough in its first 2 races to get the 3 pounds that some of the other A's are getting.
Okay. Yeah.
Like here, I'll look at
Particle
Flex.
But all right, sure.
Yeah. Like I'll look at Particle Flex. Particle Flex is an A that got 3 pounds. Oh, cut me off if we don't want to hear it. But,
No, please do. Yeah, everyone in the audience knows. I don't understand it. But
I
yeah,
expect,
go for
right?
it.
The Particle Flex is another A. The Particle Flex got 3 pounds, and if I had to guess, like I'm looking at his races, he's got a pretty consistent Fleet Figure score with where he's running, which is good. But also look, he's got 3 podium finishes of like his last 3 races were all second place. So the handicapper might say this guy has is making money, is doing well. The horse knows what it can do. The owner knows what it can do. We're going to give it 3 pounds instead of 2.
Mm-hmm. 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 3 places out of 5. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then what
That
else
race
can I
was
ask
going
you?
off.
Oh,
Shoot.
All right. Here we go.
Thank you.
Down to the track at Mo.
All right. For those of you watching Dr. Phil, we now join this race in progress. This is the 3rd time Thursday handicap. And it's Grande Ors from the outside who runs along here with Soulmate Stable Runner in the teal silks. That's Vanna. Where's Pat? As My Wife's 401k is in 3rd here with Ariel down at the rail. And back on the extreme outside, it's King Bruno runs along in 5th with Kit Kat. About 7 lengths off the lead, running in 6th here, but they're all chasing Capella. Capella leads over Vanna here by half length as he take the field around the turn in this 9 furlong affair on the dirt. And now it's Ariel who sneaks down on the rail and takes the lead, and now shows the way over Capella and Vanna. Another break of 2 comes King Bruno, who runs alongside with Beamer now, advancing from the back of the pack. And it's King Bruno getting shuffled around here. A little bit of jostling there on the outside. Keep it clean, keep it clean. And Particle Flex now starting to tear it up down the rail as this field is starting to make their way into the final turn. As 3/4 is come and gone in 113. And it's Ariel who's now being challenged here on the outside by Capella. And Capella wastes no time and goes right on by to take the lead of their own. And now shows the way by a length and a half. As Ariel continues to dig in here down at the rail, it's Beamer who starts to make moves down the center of the track. And here we go. Final 200 meters, and it's Capella now by half a length. Beamer's in chase mode, but not good enough yet with Particle Flex also engaging. But Capella's going to bring him here into the final wire. It's going to be, Capella, making it look easy over Beamer and Particle Flex.
Another great call. And I think I was off on the timing, of course.
Arvid is off. The stream video's even farther off.
Who knows? But people are tuned into this on their AM shortwave radios, I believe. So it should line up. Okay.
Man, what would Mo sound like over the radio? Like, dude, you got a phenomenal voice for this kind of stuff.
He would sound like that effect that he just puts on his voice.
I'm talking like that, say.
So
coming down the wire, say, on the outside.
Who won again?
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm behind. Like, what was
Capella won. That was my second. Capella was my second place. I did not.
What?
I'm not walking off with any.
No, you said 4:11.
I said Particle Flex Capella, and then I threw in Bruno for my third.
Oh, okay.
I picked 368, so I'm going to take a little bit of. I would have lost the exacta, but.
Mm-hmm.
Pick two.
And what was yours, Wolof? 4, 7, 8, or 4?
437, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So, just an abysmal day at the track for you.
Yeah.
We are all. Doesn't quite count. Yeah, my top 3 were in the top 4, but most of us had some bits and pieces in there. But
Jeez,
that's not the money.
Wolof, the 7 was, sniffing glue in the back. Not much happening there.
I'm a racer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Paul, I have a
Ask him.
question for you.
Yeah.
Let's say that I have an A horse that's pretty dominant on the track, and A's seem to do best in handicaps right now. So I run him in a bunch of handicaps, and he ends up carrying a ton of weight to the point where he just can't buy a win anymore. What do you do with that A horse once he's carrying a ton of weight in handicaps?
It's a fine question. I assume this is besides, you know, one potential answer, which is breed him. But I mean, if he's winning that often, if he's really walking away with it, someone's gonna pay good money for that horse for the next few years. So I think that's one option. Other than that, I mean, if he's really cleaning up the handicaps, you might want to move on to a proper stakes, like an unhandicapped stakes. And I understand, you know, that there's all the S competitions in the stakes there, but we are doing a number of restricted stakes where you won't be handicapped the same way. So I think that there is a tier for that horse to move up into like the A restricted stakes. I don't know if that's something we need more of. Obviously, we've been very careful with the grade restricted stuff. It's caused us problems in the past with HRM, which is a different situation, but you know, real horse racing doesn't have quite the same sort of doesn't really have those restrictions, but at the same time, real horse racing, you don't get a grade stamped on your horse either. So, you know, walking that line between making opportunities for your overweighted horse and still managing the right amount of realism and right amount of opportunity coming from the real horse racing is, you know, it's a line that we're definitely trying to walk. But does that suit breed him or find an A restricted stakes?
Sure. I mean, it's, you know, if you have a reasonably dominant horse, and let's say it's 3 years old, in theory, within half a season or so, you could be carrying so much weight you just can't buy a win in handicaps. So then moving, you know, as long as there's enough of those grade restricted stakes where he can run and continue to provide liquidity, if you will. You know, because at some point, if a horse just is no longer buying a win, you're going to retire him. So I guess my concern is that results in a drop in race liquidity. I don't even know if race liquidity is the right term to be using here. But it's part of the reason that I liked Beta 3, the initial Beta 3 math so much, was I saw a path for that dominant A horse. Okay, I just keep moving him up until I find where he just can't buy a win anymore. Maybe I make it all the way up to grade 3 or something like that. But that variance in my mind was allowing me to keep moving that horse up. But when there's not as many upsets, you know, there's a fine line on the number of upsets. You know, in my mind, if I can, and I'm just picking numbers out of my head here. Don't hold me to these numbers. But let's say I have an A horse that if he goes into grade 3, he wins 10% of the time, where if I get lucky and he wins sooner than 1 in 10, I turn a very handsome profit with him in graded. I'm not articulating this well, but there's if I can win, if I can get lucky, if I can have that jackpot chance with that A horse in graded stakes, and the slot machine plays with me often enough to keep going for that, then I will. But if the slot machine doesn't play with me at all, I'm not going to make that. I'm not going to take a chance. And I felt the initial Beta 3 math was a really fun slot machine, if you will. It was playing with me. It was giving me a chance. I expected in the long run I would still lose out to those S- and S horses, but I was having fun. So I don't know the math behind that. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. But I just look at it from the psychology perspective of I want to play the slot machine, knowing I'm probably going to lose, but just have that chance at the jackpot.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Is if you know, and I think it's been quoted a lot in the Discord of just this sort of idea of drawing dead, then you're never going to have the race liquidity, as you call it, which is, I guess, just race fill rates, because it just feels like, well, I really have no chance. But then there's this fine balance of like, well, I need to be profitable. I expect my good horse to win at some reasonable rate. I don't think everyone in the current community, of course, has bag bias. They want their horses to win, probably more often than they mathematically should. But at the same time, they still have a reasonable expectation that they want the game to last a long time. So they know that if we made them win every time, it wouldn't be any good. So anyway, off to the next race. We'll go to Mo down at the track. Mo, you there?
Yes, sir.
You're up, sir. I don't want to hit the theater thing because it resets it, which is an annoying bug.
Alrighty, we are back at the track, Jack. We are at a major race. I just use full screen. I don't know if theater is the way to go.
Oh, there we go. Good.
Hey.
And they're off here, I believe. We're synced up, but I'm not sure. And here we go, and it's the third time. Thursday Stakes, 12 furlongs here on the turf. And it's Thanos who got the better of it here early on, with Born to Run tucked in down at the rail. And back in between horses, that's Ajax runner out of the Wolof Bandito barn. In the blue silks, that's 3-horse at 3-1, and followed by Pollux in 5th and Harry Pinky. Harry Pinky, watch out for them knuckles, running along in 5th here as we make our way around the turn, opening quarter in 25 and change. And it's Born to Run, now being challenged here on the outside by Ajax as he pulls ahead here by half a length. And it's Alex who runs it along here in 3rd, followed by Thanos in 4th, now starts to get moving and moves up in the 3rd. And it's still Harry Pinky being tracked down here by the additional weight of the hare, and is now riding along here about 8 lengths off the leader. As we pass the big cement balls here for the first time, everybody wave to your current leader. It's Thanos. Thanos now starts to push forward here, and now leads by a length. Back down the rail with a ground-saving trip, it's Born to Run in the red silks, and comes Ajax and Pollux as these two are trying to play catch-up. As Thanos now starts to scoot away. Born to Run, not letting him get too far here, as Born to Run tucks up the rail and takes the lead back. Yoink! 3/4 and 1:15, and we are cruising down the backstretch here one more time. Appreciate everybody again coming out to the stream. Follow the channel, like the stream, join the Discord, all them good things. We're doing great things here. Photo finish live, baby, running for real money. And it's Thanos. Thanos there in that short ad break. Non-paid, by the way. For pure visibility, it's Thanos and Born to Run. These two have been duking it out, mono a swine, as they lead the cavalry into the far turn. Born to Run now starts to sneak away here and has a 1.5 length lead, as Thanos is starting to lose ground to Ajax on the inside. Born to Run now as they shake him up and head for home. It's Born to Run trying to hold on. Ajax down the center of the track. Thanos also within striking distance, but into the final 100 meters we go. Born on the inside. Ajax down the center of the track. These two are going to take us to the wire. It's going to be Ajax. No, it's going to be Born to Run
10th of
by
a
a
second.
nose in a photo finish over Ajax and Thanos. And I was behind the stream on that one, apparently.
Pretty close. It was right on me. That was I could almost visibly see the heart rating there. If I was, it was really actually happening. Man, that was
I would have lost
impressive.
money on this one. Oh yeah, I had Thanos in my head. I was looking at Thanos, so not my race.
So what happened here? Let's head down to the stable. The owner of Ajax currently sobbing into his mint julep. What happened down there?
I figured I'd get at least get the gift of being on the stream to go my way, but didn't happen. I guess it's not rigged, huh?
Not rigged. Totally rigged.
Well, that's the best performance that horse has had so far, so I'm not complaining.
Mm-hmm. Like, just as a curiosity, I know it's obviously beta. This is the first set of horses, but like, do you in your head know Ajax and have his history? Like, do you understand this horse? Do you know things about it, or are you still
No,
kind of like, no? Okay.
this is a horse that we just picked up probably a week or two before, now a little bit longer than that, before V2 ended, and I never got the chance to race it. So this is my first running with Ajax, and the rest of them though I pretty much know, but I'm still learning this one. But it's always been a distance horse and the rest of the stuff, and it seems to like distance this time again. So I think it's placed properly. Just didn't win.
Just didn't win, barely. That was a tough competition.
Yeah.
Now, Harry, I believe, is your Harry Pinky there. Are you just picking random words to put at the end of Harry? Do you know Harry Pinky? Do you know anything about him?
I knew that he would have had a chance with initial beta 3 math, but I got rugged, so.
A little out of his element in this one.
Yeah. That brings me to my point. So,
Pinky.
I have a broken pinky that never healed right. So basically when I'm coming up with horse names, I'm chilling here, just putting no effort into it. So whatever I see in my office pretty much is what goes in. But in the chat, in response to what I was saying previously, SoCal Stables said, David, your plan is to break even and you're happy about that. And you want to add liquidity. The rest of us are trying to win, which is correct. But let me share my thought process, and maybe Paul or Wolof or you, Ian, can explain where I'm going wrong with my thinking.
Right, because that don't matter. Just throwing it out.
Skipped him.
I am so sorry.
I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
You know I love you, buddy. I am so sorry.
I know, I'm just messing.
Who's that talking? I didn't even hear. Is there someone else here?
Hey, I thought he was part of the game.
The AI. Here, hold on. I gotta think. I got a new thing on this. Let's see.
Sorry, David. I sidetracked you. My bad.
Okay, go ahead, David.
So when we go live, let's say these graded races, they're going to have, say, 8 horses in them, S minus, and they're going to run quite often against the same people who are willing to bet that amount of Derby and who have that high of quality of horses. And that's probably going to go on 2-3 weeks until you start to see which horses in that specific archetype are somewhat dominant. And people are going to be like, man, I cannot with this horse buy a win at this level. So I'm going to drop down, or I'm just not going to race, or I'm going to retire, whatever. Although I guess that won't happen at 3 weeks. So now all of a sudden you're running against the same 6 horses. Go another 2 weeks. Now you're running against 5 horses, and some might start to pop up, and you go up to 6, back down to 5. All of a sudden now, after however many weeks, you're at 4 horses. Because and you guys are basically churning, right? Sometimes you're showing, sometimes you're coming second, sometimes you're going first. And because all the while these A's much lower are running handicaps and such, and you have some there that are dominant. To me, with the initial beta 3 math, some people that are coming with those really dominant A's and A pluses are going to start trying to go to higher levels to get higher returns, improve their ROI. And so they start to fill in for those people that drop down. If there isn't that degree of variance with the new math, I have concern that people are going to run in their silos, and at some point you're going to be racing the same 4 people. Then all of a sudden, to get to the point where you can retire and breed, you're racing 3 people. I mean, that's not going to work. Where am I wrong about this? Put my mind at ease.
Well, yeah, I think that's absolutely a correct statement to worry about. I think the difference in what we have been leaning on as we do all of the math ourselves more, and I guess the alpha of today's stream, which I try to release some, is the subsidization of pots. I mean, I think that's sort of the critical thing that a lot of people aren't accounting for, which will change a lot of things. That if we can obviously continue to try and make a game where only people traded stacks, I don't think any game, no matter what you do to the tuning, will last that long because they will keep compartmentalizing, and the bottom six will move out until they just all the losers eventually move their way out. So there does have to be some level of subsidization, which we do have some really interesting, exciting stuff coming on that soon. But I think you're totally right. If it was all for exact stakes, basically a zero-sum game, then you are going to have a real struggle of the people that can't find their way or can't find their niche because they keep getting popped out of the wrong area. And so it is a pretty unique, or I say interesting, or maybe smart strategy to say you're going to just try and break even, and then know that your long game of breeding and race subsidization is sort of where you're going to try and really swing for the fences. But we've got another race, Thursday Cup. Mo, are you down at the track? Is Mo still here?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ian. Down here at the track, horses are in the gate.
Mine's at the 7-second mark.
And they're off here in the Pelennor Fields. I'm on a live feed, not quite sure why that keeps on happening, but we'll figure it out. In the third time Thursday Cup, we're doing it live, folks. This Pelennor Fields, who runs out along with Sultana down in between horses. Back at the rail, that's Speedy Pablo with good speed. That's Baltazar Manga running here in the Red Silks, got out well in third. And a break of fourth, that's SLDF Girl, please, for love of God, name your horses. Atlas runs in fifth, and Lemon Drop makes it. Johnny Ringo rounds out the leaderboard here. Opening quarter in 23 and change as they lead them into the first and only turn. And there's 5 Furlong Affair, and here they go. They're shaking them up and heading for home. And it's Pelennor Fields now, leads them into the final 200 meters. But wait, there's more. This SLDF Girl, offended by my call earlier on, has now taken vicious aim at the leader. But down at the rail, it's going to be Lagavulin Neat over SLDF Girl and Olive Lucy here in the featured race.
Wow. Good one. Nice tight finish.
Went by like
yeah, five furlongs. Oh, who's got the 1990s business phone?
Sherry, hold my calls.
I want to stream. Get out of here. Anyway, so yeah, I think, but yeah, I think you're totally right. I mean, let's just, even for the sake of discussing that point there, David, which is like, let's say that it's a lot more random or a lot more variance, more like what you're saying. You've got these great horses that do seem to move up. You're now excited because, oh, geez, it's actually winning a lot more than I thought it would. There's, again, at zero sum, that means that someone is losing more than they thought they would. And they will be in the same, boat of moving themselves down and having to realize, geez, I can't find any spots. I mean, that does maybe mean more people are like trying out handicaps because that's a little better tuned and or for that sort of randomness, as well as kind of, I guess it becomes a little more slot machine at that point. But yeah, it's definitely a super interesting problem, and I think our story has always been, maybe we haven't been the best at telling it, but the goal is real life, and without subsidization of race purses from wagering in real life, like the horses, and owners would not go spend $1 million to enter a race with the shot of a 1 in 20 shot of getting it back. It's got to be a lot better turnaround. I mean, even the great example I thought was that, the Pegasus Cup, for the horse racing fans in here, Mo, I'm sure knows, they started out as this style of everybody, sack up $1 million per race spot, per gate position. We're all racing for huge stakes, and it lasted 2 years. And they're like, yeah, never mind. Let's just do the betting pool. So it is that I think is what's so critical, is of course just being able to subsidize from all the other areas in the world. And that's what I'm so excited about, is that I think we're going to deliver on that. It might take a little time, but I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So I don't know if that answers to what you were asking.
Subsidization obviously changes everything. And when we evaluated how we wanted to help the ecosystem, that was the idea. Provide race liquidity, goal of about breaking even until the races are sufficiently subsidized that people are going to be clamoring to enter because you really can't lose. So I completely understand that. I guess I should have specified short term prior to the big numbers starting to come in. If this ecosystem can get bootstrapped, I mean, the potential is absolutely enormous. It's just those first 3 to 6, 9 months or so that we're going to have to bootstrap. And
Yep.
When I've seen people give up because they didn't do well in beta 2, it's like, oh man.
Right. Much less of real money actually cost you some, dollars, right?
Right.
What do you guys think, generally speaking? We've been talking about this a lot internally. There's been so much discussion in the Discord, so it'd be good to have it with you guys here before I've got to leave here in a few minutes anyway. But just your general thoughts on the fact that, when we do the math, like Gen 1s aren't racing until what, August or September, because of the timeline, right? I think that's right. Is that?
That's what I came up with. Yeah, I came up with like September.
September. And some folks have said, well, just accelerate the birth, have them all born the next day, or whatever, the next month. Like, just do some hard-coded hacky thing to get it through. I think there's a lot to having some time to kind of make sure we marinate and everything's good. But yeah, maybe you do lose some momentum. It's not that many horses. So I don't know. I personally wouldn't want to make any changes, but I'm of course always open to hear what community thinks. So I'm just curious if you guys have thought about that or care.
My personal thought, I mean, the less changes are always better for me, or as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I think we need to see what the population looks like. If at the time, we've got a whole lot of need for horses, maybe that it works. But if we're just kind of going into the same cycle, I remember you saying earlier that you were kind of prepared for those first few months of it being a little stagnant, being a little bit, and we'll kind of market appropriately. I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, we've all kind of been here this long. I mean, if you're going to go at this point, I mean, I don't know what you're doing. So,
yeah, to sell the worst possible timing. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Just generally speaking, as an idea, I mean, if there are very few horses that get cashed in, then we just make very few races, and of course that sort of hurts a lot of the how is Crown working and how much money's rolling through, but it at least makes sure that every Friday night's exciting, and we're all in it together, and we know that once the population gets larger, then it's going to be better. I mean, I have sort of been a little bit surprised at the lack of cash in on tickets, like how many people got those tickets and then have kind of just disappeared from Solana, and not just from us, they're just gone. And you have to think about that. Of course, there were a lot of people that had FTX accounts. There were a lot of people that had their entire worth in FTX, and so they've sort of just vanished. So that part is a little bit worrying. That due to the market conditions, we just a bunch of people that were ready to race now are just kind of gone. But I don't know. That's one thing we could even talk about as a community, as a team as well, is just continue to go try and track down the people that have had literally zero wallet activity for months and months and months, and try and figure out how to get them back. Or do we claw those back? Do we do something there to try and get them back in? I don't know. So it's a bummer, but.
It's going to be a combination of incentivization and marketing. And I'm not saying marketing necessarily to new players, but, getting the main Solana account to tweet, hey, PFL is going live in 10 days. It's time to get your ticket redeemed. get the word out to those people that are like, oh crap, did I have one of those tickets?
Yeah.
I hope that they are going to help you guys out on that. I know that I will have a meltdown if they do not. But then it's incentivization. Make it hard for people to decide whether they want to retire or not. Incentivize them to race somehow. Where it's like, we obviously need some people to retire and start building those new generations. But if people are on the fence, incentivize them to stay in the racing side of the fence on occasion. How you do that, I have no idea.
Yep.
You the brains.
Yep, we'll have some exciting stuff there, and yeah, we do obviously just want everyone to get beat back over the head, like, oh yeah, I did have one of those, or did I pick up one of those? Oh man, look at that. That's worth bringing back out of the woodwork, but it is sort of like, I don't know how many yet. I need to do a query. I think we did one at one point of, around beta 1, there was a large percentage of tickets got cashed in beta 1. But beta 2 was slower, and beta 3 similar. So,
I mean, Lewis is the guy that has to have about a quarter of them by himself.
mm-hmm. Yeah, what's Big Brain? How many did Big Brain have at this point? 100 and something too.
But I'm not sure that it's people getting wrecked so much. I mean, obviously, most people have. I think it's just it's attention more than anything, because okay, you got wrecked, fine, go throw your B+ horse up on Magic Eden and recoup some of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're out there. It's just a matter of grabbing their attention again.
Yep,
I agree.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I don't think we have to do anything crazy. Personally, I know, like I'll drop in the Discord randomly, and there'll be hours of discussion about how to work around this issue or this part of the thing. But to me, it's always been like very solvable, and we'll be fine. And it's just part of the growth of the game, is that it's going to be tight up front, and then it'll start to get larger. It's just sort of part of it being a long-term. I mean, I don't know if I've said it on stream before, but I think this game can last forever. So I think it's kind of a different style than like, oh, we got to get it out by, it's got to be at, 1 million DAU by January. Like, I don't care. It's going to be around forever. It can last forever. And I mean, even Horse Racing Manager is still running, and
Yes,
that's kind of shocking, and that game has none of the ecosystem, none of the player content that we have now. So I think it's
all about risk reward, and the risk reward is still very much skewed in our favor. And people that give up at this point are 1 month, 2 months, even 3 months into the game are dumbasses, in my opinion. You guys have shown that you have the grit, the fortitude, and the brains to get it done. The payoff for sticking with this, the potential payoff for sticking with this, is worth the risk, in my opinion. I appreciate
bullish
hard work you guys are putting into this and putting up with all our nonsense.
yeah, it's fun. I appreciate you guys very much in the Discord. Obviously, thanks everybody for joining. Mo, you are an absolute legend. How are you doing, Mo, by the way? I know you were going through a bunch of tooth pain. Is that any better? I hope you're not hopped up on pain pills. Or hopped up on goofballs.
No. We keep it green around here. We're dealing with it. I've been dealing with this for years, man. Even before COVID, I was starting to get everything, fixed for surgery and stuff like that. But it's a time-consuming process, and make it happen.
All right, and you're just to let the audience know, you are streaming the Night at the Races tomorrow and Saturday still, or are you?
Yep. We'll be live with Volt tomorrow night, Saturday night over on his YouTube channel. You guys can find me usually on kick.com/monos as well. I really feel like that's a good market for this whole community to tap into. Again, they're a full degenerate casino, poker-based site. So, they're going to be chomping at the bit once the right person gets their eyes on this. So I would like to get a 24-hour stream of photo finish going on that site, So that's where you guys can find me. I usually post it in Discord so people know.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in, of course, on Third Time Thursday. Special guests, you guys are legends, of course. Thanks for coming in, and I'll see everyone next time. All right?
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one, man.
Yep.
Thank you.